I'm back. So we have got the slow cooker zesty barbecue pulled chicken going, and it smells absolutely wonderful. So now I'm moving on to my mini peanut butter cheesecakes. So I'll go down the ingredients that we're going to need. I'll also list them down below in the description box, and also leave the instructions and everything. We're going to want to start by preheating our oven to 350 degrees to start with, and that's going to be for our crust. So as far as our ingredients, we're going to need 3 bricks of softened room temperature cream cheese. And anytime you make a cheesecake of any kind, it's very important that you start with all of your ingredients room temperature. As far as your cream cheese, your eggs, your sour cream, your peanut butter, and what that does is it just makes your cheesecake smoother, and it bakes more evenly, and it reduces the risk of the cracks in the top of your cheesecake. So it's very important to bring those ingredients to room temperature. You don't need your sugars or anything like that, but just your cream cheese, your eggs, your dairy, and all of that. So we got our 3 bricks of cream cheese, and I already have that sitting in the mixing bowl ready to go. So I'm just going to set that on the stand mixer for right now. And then as far as the other ingredients, I'll just hold it up. We've got 1 cup of smooth peanut butter ready to go. And we've got 3/4 of a cup of granulated sugar. And then we've got a 1/3 cup of packed brown sugar. And the recipe called for 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla extract, but I like to use Madagascar vanilla bean paste as much as I can, only because, like I said, it was given to me as a gift, and it seems to give a more pronounced vanilla taste. Again, I don't know, but that's what I hear. And I also like the look of the little vanilla beans. So I went and I just used 1 teaspoon of it because I know it's a more condensed flavor. So I used a teaspoon of the vanilla bean paste. If you're using vanilla extract, it's 1.5 teaspoons. And it's a 1/3 cup of sour cream. And I went and got the Mini Reeces unwrapped because I'm going to use those for the top once we're done. And as far as the crust ingredients, most call for Oreo cracker crumbs. To me, it's such a hassle to untwist them, scrape off the cream filling. It is such a pain. And you can get the chocolate flavored graham crackers. So that's what I did. I went and got the chocolate graham crackers. No scraping. So, you know, do that. 3 tablespoons of melted butter. And then it calls for a tablespoon of sugar. So we got that. And what I did with the graham crackers is I took, this happened to come with 3 packs of them. I opened 1 full and took 3 from the other pack, and I just kind of broke them up into little pieces just to help out the food processor a little bit. So, you know, give that little sucker a help out. As far as tools, so I'm going to use a food processor to process the crust. If you don't have a food processor, you can use a blender, or my other favorite thing to do is stick them in a large baggie, get a rolling pin or whatever, and just bash it. You know, you got frustrations? Hallelujah, take it out. You know, let's get it done. Love that one. So, food processor, blender, baggie, bash, heck yeah. So another thing for the minis. Now, my husband loves cheesecakes, and let me tell you something. When I started baking, long time ago, but more recently, these years, started baking a ton for people and everything. I was doing cakes, cookies, cupcakes, cake pops, Rice Krispie treats, all that good stuff. I didn't get into cheesecakes or anything like that. One day I get a package from Amazon. Would you know it? He got me like 9 cheesecake pans. One is even a glass with a silicone thing at the bottom. And then I get 6 of these little minis. Hint, hint, wink, wink. Alright, I got it, honey. I'll start making cheesecakes. Here I am making cheesecakes. Any jahoos. So, I got these apparently from Amazon. Let me show you these cute little buggers. Little mini springform cheesecake pans. They're about 4 inches. You know, just like the other. I'm not going to undo them because they are a pain to get back in. So 6 of these little guys if you have them, you know. And this does call, the original recipe is for a 9-inch springform pan. So if you want to do a regular one, it's a 9-inch. And I have these guys on a cookie sheet. And also you're going to need some tin foil. It doesn't call for a bain-marie or water bath, which also I love because I hate water baths with a passion. They always leak, I'll tell you what. So what I did, since they're 4, I added 2 inches. So I cut 2 6-inch pieces of foil, which I will make across. And then I will set these in the middle, fold them up the sides, and curl them. Another pain, which is why these take forever. So I'm going to set us up next to the food processor and we'll get started on the crust. And we'll be right back. Okay, so in my food processor I have the chocolate graham crackers. And I'm just going to pour the sugar in. All that good stuff. And I'm going to pulse that together until it becomes fine crumbs. And then once that's done, I'm going to slowly add in the 3 tablespoons of butter until that becomes like a crumb for them. And then I'll be back to show you what that looks like. And then we'll place that into our mini cheesecake pans. I'll be right back. Okay, so for the crust, now I went ahead and lined all of these little guys and had them come up the sides, and they turned out pretty fun. The only annoying, I guess, part was coming up over the latch that closes. These ones seem to come out more than the regular ones. You can see it right there. That was the only pain in the tushy. But other than that, they turned out pretty cool. So I, in my set of little measuring cups, I happen to have a 2 teaspoon, and I've already done the other 5. So I figured I'm having to do, I started off using 2, and so that would be 4 heaping teaspoons, and that wasn't really enough, so I kind of added like a 3/4 extra one, and that seemed to be enough. And then normally you would use like your palm of your hand when you can be in the 8-inch, 9-inch, whatever regular one. But I found I have this cute little Cabela's, my husband's little Cabela's shot glass. So that actually worked really well for pushing that down in there. So that's what I've been using to push those down. I'm not coming up the side of them, only because with them being mini, I wasn't really sure how that would work. That noise is the chicken bubbling in there. I've turned it down to low, but it's cooking away. So that worked, and I just figured I wouldn't go up this side because I didn't want it to break it. I'm not sure how delicate these are going to be, so I'm just sticking with the bottom, and I'll show you what they look really cute. And I'm just using the bottom line and the inside as the guide as for how much crust I'm putting in there. So I'm just using that. So I'm going to fill the last one, and then I'm going to put these in the oven. We preheated the oven to 350 in the very beginning, and it says to bake them at 5 minutes. Bring them out, let them cool, and then we'll start on the peanut butter filling. See you then. Alright guys, we are back. The crusts are out of the oven and they are cooling. And now to start for the filling. Can I get a hallelujah? Thank you, Jordan Smith. Alrighty. So, the first instructions are to cream together our 3 bricks of cream cheese with our creamy peanut butter. And it called for 1 cup of peanut butter. And I added a little bit more, probably like a cup and maybe 2 more tablespoons because I'm adding the vanilla bean paste, which is going to add that extra vanilla. So I wanted to add a little bit more peanut butter so it's not so vanilla-y. So I'm going to go ahead and cream these together and we'll be right back. Okay, they are nice and creamed together. As you can see, actually it looks like peanut butter ganache to me, or fudge. Yum. Now it's very important that you make sure you scrape down the bowl because the peanut butter likes to travel north instead of saying south. And I don't know about you guys, but no matter how many times I yell at it, it doesn't listen. So I have to scrape it. So now the next step is to add both of our sugars. So we're going to add our granulated sugar and our packed brown sugar to it and give it another mix until it's well incorporated, and give it another scrape down and a good mix, and then we'll move on to the next step. We'll be back. Okay, so it said to mix for a few minutes, so I mixed it for about 2 minutes and it looks like a fluffy cloud. I will show you. And it's thick. Okay. Very thick. So, and again, I always use 2. I always use the big one, and I use this little tiny, to scrape. It comes in really handy, especially when I'm scraping off the beater. It gets into the little tiny nooks and stuff. Really handy. And then I use this one to scrape the bowl. So, the next step, it says to add in the vanilla extract or the vanilla bean paste, and then the eggs one at a time, and you mix very thoroughly until you can't see the egg anymore before you add the next egg. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then we'll be right back. Alright, so we added the vanilla bean paste and the eggs one at a time, and it looks very creamy. And the last step we have, home run stretch, woohoo, is to add our sour cream. So we're going to go ahead and add the sour cream. Give it a good mix, just until it's well combined. We don't want to over mix it here. And then we're going to give it one really good scrape down and a final mix, and then we'll be ready to go ahead and pour it into our mini cheesecake pans. So excited. So I will be back when we're ready to do that. Okay, so I'm ready to go ahead and fill my cheesecakes. So I have my batter, and I have just a spoon that I'm going to use. And I completely mixed those, so not sure how much batter. I'm just going to fill them all the way up. The batter is very thick, so I'm just going to tap those in. And then once I've got them pretty full, I don't think I'm going to fill them all the way to the brim, but I'm going to fill them pretty full. Then I'm probably going to wiggle those down, level them off, and then I'll come back and show you what they look like before we set them in. And I've lowered the oven temperature to 325, and then we'll bake these for an hour and 15 minutes. And then we'll crack the oven door. We'll turn the oven completely off, leave them in, and then we'll crack the oven door and let them sit there for an hour. Bring them out at room temp, let them sit on the counter for another hour and a half, and then we'll refrigerate them for at least 4 hours, preferably overnight. But I'll be back to show you when they're done. Alright guys, so there they are, all filled. I left a little room on the top so they can do their little rise. And I actually used a baby spoon, the back of a baby spoon, because they're so tiny, and just smoothed them out on the top. And I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna put them in the oven for an hour and 15 minutes at 325. And then once that time is up, I will completely turn the oven off, leaving them inside. Crack the door open, and then let them sit in there for another hour. Bring them out set them on a cooling rack at room temp for another hour and a half, 2 hours, and then they will go in the fridge for a minimum of 4 hours, preferably overnight. And then I will see what they look like at the 4-hour mark, and then I'm sure somebody, my daughter or my husband, will be more than willing to try one. And then I will top them with the mini unwrapped Reese's Pieces. So I will be back at the point of when I have brought them out of the oven, and we'll set them on a cooling rack at room temp and show you what they look like then. All right, see you then. Okay, so they're done, and I have taken them out after. So the time was an hour and 15 minutes that they were supposed to be in the oven at 325. I kept an eye on them, being that this is the first time I've used the recipe off of Pinterest. So I kept an eye on them, and it had 24 minutes left in the oven, and they were turning really brown around the edges. So I took them out at that point because they looked done at that point, and they were done. So, and I got this recipe off Pinterest from a site called A Pretty Life in the Suburbs, and this is what it looked like. Oh, it's really bright. Let me see if I can. There we go. And that's what it is. So it is for a 9-inch. And so I used it for the minis. I'm not sure what went wrong in the recipe, but when I did check it at that point as well, these rose a good inch above the rim. And as you saw, I didn't fill them all the way to the top. So, and there is quite, as you can see, quite a bit of cracking in them as well. And this is how much they sank in. So, needless to say, I won't be using this recipe again. I don't even think I would go as far as to using it on a 9-inch. So, I'm not happy with this one. So I'll just try another one at another point in time. But so they're sitting at room temperature for another hour, and then they'll have to cool in the fridge for 4 hours. So at that point it'll be 11:40. So unfortunately, I won't, cut into them in that. I think tomorrow what I'll do is I'll just do a video, a short video of some pictures that I took of the pulled chicken, and one that I've cut into and topped with the Reese's peanut butter. I'm sure they'll taste fine. I'll let you know that as well. But that's how they turned out. Again, not impressed at all. Not happy with them. As you can see how they've sunk and all the cracks in them. Like I said, the timing wasn't even close to it. The rising in them, they almost look like cakes. So I'm not happy with them. So that's how those turned out. So I will see tomorrow, I guess. So thank you guys for watching. Sorry about that. This happened. And I'll see you guys soon.